And right now we have today with us here Marina, our strategic advisor, a former world banker, former INSEAD, and nowadays a professor of HEC, Paris.
Correct.
And she's working with us a lot on the sustainability and how Cartesi will be tackling this whole industry and this blue ocean of opportunity. So we're here today in a friendly talk. Marina,
Hi
welcome.
everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me to have this conversation. I think it's a very dynamic event and I'm very happy to be part of it on the sides of Cartesi today. So yes, there's a lot to be created in this space, and we've seen a lot about NFTs and different business models, mostly in the luxury industry and the gaming industry. But I'm happy to say that Cartesi was also on a panel talking about green, affordable, and democratic. And I think those are three very powerful words. And I think Cartesi as a company or as an organization, maybe not a company, that's too corporate.
Exactly.
As an organization, as a community that is committed to the values of sustainability and that is coming from an emerging market. So you really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can talk about this subject.
And how do you see the blockchain playing this role of sustainability?
So I've been working in the space since 2016, and in fact, my first attraction to blockchain at a time when most of the people were talking just about cryptocurrencies was about the amazing potential that this underlying technology to Bitcoin had in terms of re-engineering entire economic systems and business models. So my work actually in the early days focused with the International Finance Corporation, which is sort of the private finance arm of the World Bank, on how we could use blockchain technology to support economic development, financial inclusion, transparency, sustainability standards, social standards, etc. So I'm very convinced that in using blockchain and all the endemic features that it has, it can guarantee that we can have finally results on some of the things we've been promising for a long time, but we haven't been able to deliver as well.
Exactly. And it's a very, I would say, flourishing ecosystem. It is scratching the surface at the early stages. So how do you see basically the biggest opportunities that you have in this blue ocean that we have here on sustainability?
The problem with blockchain is that it has such a versatile potential in so many different verticals and sectors that it's kind of hard to, let's say, choose, because you could go from financial services and the impact it can have in facilitating payment systems and remittances, or let's say the financial aspects of climate mitigation efforts in terms of providing the underlying due diligence mechanisms for green bonds or blue bonds or whatever kind of instruments that are emitted in order to ensure that carbon zero strategies are actually implemented. So there's the financial part, and then there's the actual traceability part, which for supply chains is extremely crucial, right? For now you can have an auditable registry available with information in real time to all the economic participants across the supply chain. And it can solve problems of complexity that have plagued the users for so long. And I think Cartesi actually is already doing something in this space. So maybe you're better placed to talk about it.
Indeed, and that's where Cartesi technology can play a very interesting role on that. Through the blockchain OS, we can change completely the game into traceability and what is possible. I can give an example on that. A lot of people are talking nowadays and doing actually, it's a reality, about tokenization of carbon credits, creating a very seamless and frictionless market of carbon credits, tokenizing carbon credit. And this is fantastic because you bring democratization to that industry, you connect stakeholders in a seamless way, transparent, which is fun. It's absolutely amazing. The problem is, everybody discussed that from the page 2 of this situation. We assume that we already have a carbon credit issue and we can tokenize that. But what about guarantee that this credit is real, authentic, and really represent a saving on that carbon? And nobody talks about that because this is the hard problem. This is where you have a very archaic, a very old, and not reliable system that consists on space auditings that is based on samplings, based on human factor, which is a weak point
Always fallible.
the weak point. It is how it is, the human nature, that those guys will verify if that is compliance and then authorize an emission of a credit, assuming that is true, with a very vague auditing process. It's not the guilty of those auditing companies that they're doing a great job. It's the nature of it. And the blockchain can give that different aspects, that we can do a verifiable computation on these verifications. We're working on an Africa project right now where you have stoves that are being replaced to a more ecologic and carbon credit stoves that is not doing coal, but pellets that can, of course, offset carbon.
Yes.
And in the past, how you issue credits on that? You issue credits on that based on a fair estimation on time of usage, amount of people that are using, and you do estimations like approximately. Right now, with IoT and this IoT data sending directly to the Cartesi OS, the data that, since we have the Linux, right, underneath of our technology, you can receive a file that might be compressed, you can uncompress this file, you can treat this file, you can calculate exactly the time of the day, how many minutes, how many hours this specifically oven was working, and then you can, in a very precise way, computate the carbon offset you're doing without any possible way to be challenged. You have verifiable proofs, and everything that is doing a Cartesi machine is auditable, traceable, and enforceable by the blockchain technology. With Cartesi technology, you can implement much more sophisticated decentralized solutions, and that will be, I'm delighted to see that unfolding. We're just scratching the surface. I think will be a fantastic years ahead of us.
Projects such as these, they provide real solutions to real problems. And that's the only way for technology to mainstream. It's because it provides a solution to a real problem and none as real as the problems of supply chain at this moment. And all the compliance standards that, stakeholder pressure is putting around the world, in Europe, in the US, even in emerging markets, we don't have a mechanism. And here, we're talking about developing a mechanism just to solve those problems of verifiability. So, great, brave new world we're about to build.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
That's fantastic.
Happy to be working together on this.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.